Hey friends! So today I'm wearing a green sari. It's like a light green sari with bits of like regular green in it, and you can see on the pallu here that there's red flower designs. There's also black, but I feel like the black is too heavy, which is why I went with like a red choli. And I've also got some red earrings, and I'm putting a red clip in my hair. And I also will do a red nose pin as well and a red bindi. So I'm doing a full look today. I haven't put on any of my makeup yet, just some moisturizer and some primer. So we're starting with some foundation. Now today I wanted to talk to you about victim blaming. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because, as you know, or as you might have heard, if you know me, if you're on my Facebook and on my Instagram, I recently went to Puri for Ratha-Yatra, and I just want to say that the festival itself was quite good. You know, it was very well organized. I was very impressed by what the city of Puri did to try to accommodate the something like 8 million people that went to this festival. I mean, it's amazing to see people coming from all over India just to see Lord Jagannath, you know, come out of his temple onto a chariot and go to his auntie's house. So I decided, since I'm in India for the summer for the first time, I should go to this festival. You know, I don't know when I would have the chance to go again. By the way, I do my foundation very, very light, and I usually do light coverage type foundation, not like full coverage, because I like how my face looks. I don't want to look like a different person, you know, and I have little things that I like about myself. I have some freckles around my eyes. Kind of reminds me of my mom. My mom has freckles, so when I look at my freckles, I think of my mom. Anyway, so I went to this festival, and it was a wonderful festival, but then there was an incident that occurred where we went to go pull the chariot, the rope for the chariot, right? And then we got sucked into this massive crowd. Now, if you've ever been in an Indian crowd, like, you can't get out of it. Like, you just kind of have to go with the flow and let the crowd guide you out. It's not like crowded, like, say, New York Times Square crowded, where you go, oh my God, there's a lot of people here. It's like, you know, it would be a blessing to call it, you know, sardines in a sardine can. Like, it's crowded that if you trip, you will die. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There was one year where like 7 people died because of the crowds. Even I think last year there was like a stampede at a railway station, and it killed a bunch of people, and a lot more people got injured. So like, Indian people here, like, when it comes to crowds, like, they're terrible with it. Sorry to say, but it's true. So this is my e.l.f. color corrector for all my like dark patches, you know, around my skin. So we got sucked into this crowd, and generally I don't mind crowds. I've been like building up for these crowds living in Mayapur, but while I was in this crowd, I realized it was a lot of men. Like, it was all men. And I guess some of these men, my husband said there was 3, I only saw 1, but they decided to take advantage of me being helplessly stuck in this horrible crowd, and they groped me. And I was kind of staying calm about it, but afterwards I got really upset, and it made me post this video that's now gone kind of viral. There's something like 13,000 views on it, 160 shares. So I thought that talking about it, I thought it was important to talk about, because it's something that happens to a lot of women, a lot of people, not just women, a lot of women, a lot of children. And I wanted to discuss this issue of victim blaming. So don't think that I'm talking about it because I want you to feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm not looking for anybody's pity, you know. I'm just talking about it so that you can start talking about it, because I don't see why the victim should feel ashamed of what had happened. You know, actually, it's the person that did the thing that should be ashamed, not you. Like, you were just doing, like, I was just, you know, in ecstasy of being in Ratha-Yatra. I was minding my own business. I was with my husband. I was, you know, following all the rules, and, you know, this kind of thing happens, and it can happen to anybody. So this is just me talking about it so that you feel empowered to talk about it as well. And many of you have actually approached me and have written to me and have called me and have whatever and told me about your experiences. Then I applaud you for that, and I appreciate that. And you know, you're not alone. So the question is, why do victims feel like they should hide? And it's because we've built up this culture that we seem to think that the victim is at fault for having been, you know, first of all, it's a very private thing that's happened. You know, if you've been touched or you've been whatevered in a very private area of your body that nobody but God and your mom has seen, you know, and then suddenly someone has violated that and it's not right. You know, that's something that belongs to you. Your chastity is, you know, they say, you know, your chastity is your you know, your most important thing. It's the only thing women have, blah blah blah. So and then for someone to just take that away from you, it's so wrong. It's so vulgar. So that's one thing. And another thing is there's this victim blaming tendency that goes on where people just assume that you're at fault. And, you know, when you've heard it enough in your life, you get to a point, this is some concealer now, I'm just putting it around my eyes and on my nose and different parts of my face. So, you know, you hear it enough where you just start to feel ashamed that maybe you did ask for it, maybe it is your fault, and better not say anything so that people don't start thinking certain ways about you. You know, they don't call you a hoe or whatever. No one wants to be called names. Nobody likes being called a prostitute or whatever. You know, so better not say anything than you say something and nothing happens. So I can tell you personally that in case you don't know what victim blaming is, meaning that you're the victim of a circumstance, something bad happens to you, and then we put the onus on the victim to have been responsible instead of the onus being on the offender, basically. So we tell the victim that there was 100 things that they could have done differently, or they were in that situation, what they would have done, or whatever. I have a list. I thought about it yesterday, and I made a list of all the things people have ever told me in my life that I can remember, and I wanted to share that list with you. So here we are. So here's a list I made. It's because he likes you. You're misunderstanding. You're being dramatic. It's all in your imagination. It's because of how you dress. It's because of your makeup. And you're just making it up. You're not that pretty. You're too pretty. You're too hot. You're too nice. You're too friendly. You're just exaggerating. What'd you do for that to happen? It's because your husband wasn't there. It's because you didn't cover your head. It's because you looked at him. It's because you smiled. You shouldn't have stopped. You shouldn't have talked. You shouldn't have taken that road. You shouldn't have stood on your porch. You shouldn't have hesitated. You shouldn't have opened your door. You should have slapped him. You should have yelled at him. You should have beat him up. You shouldn't have answered the phone. You shouldn't have replied that text. You shouldn't have sat there. You shouldn't have laughed. And you shouldn't have been in that crowd. That was the last thing that was told to me. So those are things that people have told me over the years where I sort of go, really? That's all you have to say? You're not like, wow, what a bad guy, or let him burn in hell, or I know his mother, let me go get her. No one tells me that, but they have no shame in telling me, like, what'd you do for that to happen? Or you shouldn't, the one that gets me is, you shouldn't have taken that road. This is a road that I take every day, by the way, and it's got lots of people, and, you know, it was daylight. So, for people to say these, I mean, it sounds silly when you just read it, right? But then for some reason, when it's attached to a situation, people think it's the most logical thing to say in the world. And it's not just India, but it's everywhere. America, people say these things to me. Here in India, yeah, so it's not like it's just India alone. It's not like it's only karmis. It's like devotees, non-devotees, Indians, Americans, all kinds of people. There we go. You know, you put on makeup so that you feel good, but I feel like I look exactly the same. Like one time I did a before and after, and I didn't look any different, but you know, you feel different, so I don't know, that's different. Okay. I'm putting on a little translucent powder now. So I was reading an article in Psychology Today about victim blaming, just kind of wanting to understand why people victim blame, because like I just read this list of things that people have told me, and it seems so silly when you're just reading the list, but Psychology Today said something very interesting. I wanted to read the article to you, but my phone is on its last legs of life. Like it's dying forever. Like its soul is being liberated as we speak. It's sitting in a phone charger comatose right now. So I, for a moment, don't have a phone. Anyways, from what I remember from the article, it's a very interesting article about victim blaming. And they said it's because it's a matter of self-preservation, because our intrinsic nature as humans is to believe that the world is good and the world is just. So, you know, when something good happens, you get a reward, something bad happens, you get punished. It has to happen that way. Like good people, good things happen, bad people, bad things happen. We want the world to be this way. It's our intrinsic nature to believe these things. So when we see something bad happen, it's, oh, they must have done something for that to happen, for that bad thing to happen to them, because the world is just. There's no like random people being awful for no reason and choosing this. There's no reason for an innocent person to be hurt. So it's easier to just say there's something wrong with the innocent person than for you to believe that it's something that could happen to you. I thought it was interesting, and they talked about the study where they brought a bunch of women in a room. Read the article. It's on. You go to Google, type in victim blaming Psychology Today, and see if it pops up. But they talked about, they brought this two group. They have two batches of women, right? And they brought them all together in a room, and they had this person getting electrocuted, fake electrocution. It's an actor, but getting electrocuted every time they got something wrong. They separated the women, and one group of women, every time that person got something right, they got rewarded, right? The women said they would prefer that the person gets rewarded if they do something right instead of electrocuted when they do something wrong. The second group of women just had to watch the person get mercilessly executed or electrocuted every time they got something wrong. And there was no reward, there was no options, nothing. They brought the two groups of women back together. Now, the group of women that had the reward system said that there was that the person, the actor, didn't have a right to get electrocuted, while the group of women who saw no reward system said that the victim, the actor, deserved it. There must have been something that they did for them to deserve it. So when we don't see like an immediate like good thing happen to a good person, our brain automatically starts thinking, well, they must have deserved it. Bad things don't happen to good people for no reason. And we start rationalizing it as a means of our own self-protection. And then, interestingly enough, so if you want to know how to stop victim blaming, here's how the study continues, is that now I have like a little bit of a bronzer, but it doesn't really bronze my skin because I'm too dark. But I put it on anyway because I feel nice. So the interesting thing is that the study continues, and they found that when the subjects empathized with the actor, then they felt like the actor didn't deserve to be electrocuted. So what it takes to stop victim blaming is to empathize. You have to think, well, if I was in that position, you know, would I want to be electrocuted? Would I want to be raped? Would I want to be molested? Would I want to be groped? Obviously not. Do I think I deserve it? No. No one thinks they did. No one walks around and thinks, well, I asked for it. No one does that, right? So if you're in that position and you wouldn't like someone doing it to you, this is like kindergarten stuff. This is what I used to tell like primary school students. How would you like if somebody hit you? Well, I wouldn't like that. Same thing as an adult, you know, we somehow forget it. We start victim blaming and saying it's all the victim's fault. So it's the same deal. If you wouldn't like it, then the other person didn't deserve it, right? If you feel like you didn't deserve it, they didn't deserve it either. So it's a very interesting interesting study, and if you get a chance, you really should read it. It's fascinating. Actually, I'll include a link to the study at the bottom of this page, and a link to that video that I made that was going kind of viral, but not super viral, but it's more viral than anything else I've ever put on Facebook, in case you're interested in my reaction. But I was like furious, because like it happened, the dudes went away, Lord Juggernaut was like just strolling away on his chariot, and you just sort of sit there and you're like, really, God? Like, really? This is how we roll? Like, I thought we were tight. So I was just very upset, and I was like, you know what? God's justice is better than man's justice, and you're gonna get yours one day. So I was pretty upset. So before I close today, I still have a lot of makeup to do, but before I close today, I wanted to talk about some of the comments that I got from that video. Now, overall, the comments I got was pretty good. Actually, I was surprised. I was impressed. Hooray for humanity. Most of them, I'd say like 99% of the comments were very supportive, and very empathic and very understanding. Oh, now I'm doing like a highlighter type, whatever this is. I'm not like a makeup guru, okay? Like, let me be. I don't know the terms for these things. I just put some crap on my face before I leave the house. That's it. So, yeah, 99% was like really good. But there was still like a few where I was like, I think you don't understand. Or maybe you do understand, you're just dense. So I just wanted to address those comments. So hooray to the most of you that said nice things. I couldn't read every single comment because it was shared on other people's Facebooks, and I couldn't figure out how to look at shared things. I don't know. I'm not very good at interneting and life. So one comment that I used to see was that I should have attacked the person, right? I should have kicked them in the balls and stabbed them, and I should have stuck them in the eye, and I should have done all this, you know, pepper spray. So my comment to that is, exactly who would I pepper spray? Because like I said before, I don't know who they are. Like, it's 8 million people in a crowd, you know, and I don't want to hurt the wrong person. Because for me, the wrong person doesn't deserve it. I'd rather not hurt the wrong person and let an innocent person go unhurt. So I don't want to attack the wrong person. First of all, this is some blush. Second of all, here you are. The second thing is that India has an issue with acid attacks on women. And I was reading that acid attacks on women are actually on the rise. The highest cases of acid attacks actually is in Bangladesh, which is like 30 minutes from Mayapur, by the way. But it's slowly declining, but here in India, it's rising. The cases of acid attacks are rising. And they say as recent as 2016, there was 300 reported attacks. And usually men attack women because they were, you know, they denied their sexual advances. It's because they had denied their marriage proposals. Sometimes it's over things like land or money, but mostly it's because of relationship sexual stuff. So you know, as much as I have, you know, all kinds of depression issues and other issues, I have come to like my face, and I like having the power of sight, and I really don't want to have some acid thrown in my face. You know, I would be very sad if that happened to me. God made my face, and I want to keep it nice. This is just some eyeshadow primer, Milani eyeshadow primer. It's very good. You let it sit for a minute, it makes your eyeshadow more vibrant. So that's one thing, is I didn't want to, they say that reported attacks are 300 in the year 2016, but it was over 1,000 that have gone unreported. So I don't want to be a statistic, that's for sure. Another thing that devotees were saying, or people were saying, is that it's your karma, It's Krishna's desire. And for me, it's like, it's a very cold-hearted thing to say, even if it is my karma. But like, it's not it doesn't mean that, you know, any woman should suffer like that because it's my karma. It just seems like an empathy cop-out. I'm just doing my eyebrows now. I have like a very dark brown like eyebrow shadow that I use just to fill in this little bit here, just to kind of measure. That's where it should end. Continue on. So it just seems like a cop-out to empathy, like, oh yeah, it's just your karma, you deserved it. And I think as a devotee, we don't sit and say that's your karma. I think as a devotee, we should feel empowered to act with compassion because we see Krishna sitting in the hearts of all living entities as the super soul, and we see all people as servants or potential servants of Krishna. So we wouldn't want any of Krishna's living entities to get hurt. So why would we say, oh, it's your karma and just let it pass? Or, oh, Krishna wanted it and let it pass. I think it should make you more compassionate and more empathic and make you want to reach out more. And the last one, for me, I was just like blown away with this comment. This really, like, I was pretty cool, but then when I saw this comment, this set me straight off. And when I get mad, if you ever saw me get mad, oh Lord, everybody look out. This comment, this person said, you were on your period and you didn't have a right to touch the rope of Lord Jagannath's chariot. And therefore, Lord Jagannath decided to punish you in the most horrible way. And they also said it's my karma. So, do you see why that set me off? Because here we see not just victim blaming, but we also see something called period shaming. This is extremely common within like the Hindu culture. I think I remember reading an article last year about a young girl in a village who died because there's this stigma that when you're on your period, you're contaminated. And definitely you feel contaminated. You know, you've got like a bunch of blood. Anyways, you feel contaminated. But their ritual was that when you're on your period, they put you in this like kind of like an isolation box. And they put her in there for 7 days. And when they took her out, she was dead. So, you know, I'm just doing a little bit of highlighter here. So this kind of period shaming, this needs to go. You know, if you have the means and you have the ability to kind of be comfortable and be in your room when you're on your period, that's fine. But most women are working women. I know when I was a pujari, the rule is that you don't go on the altar when you're on your period, but when there's no other pujari there, you take a shower and you go. Now, I know the rules as far as my period goes. Trust me, I am not an idiot. I'm definitely well read. And I talked about it with my husband the night before, and we said, listen, we came all this way. I took a cargo bus to get there, by the way, a cargo bus. Not a nice bus, not a train, nothing fancy. I took a cargo bus to get all the way there. I'd already suffered through losing my job, through the miscarriage, through like a sexual assault attempt. I'd suffered through so many things, and I just wanted to go see the Lord and go enjoy the Ratha-Yatra in peace, which for the most part I did, except for that one thing. So having gone through all of that, I really just wanted to be able to go and enjoy the Ratha-Yatra. And then we considered that this is the time when Lord Jagannath is the most merciful, and he's willing to excuse offenses. So I find that this person, this woman, by the way, who said this really does not have an understanding of Jagannath culture and who Lord Jagannath is. He's the most merciful, Patita Pavana, that's his name, you know, the most merciful to the most fallen. So me being in a contaminated state, I thought that I think it's acceptable for me to go and to be able to touch the rope. I wasn't hugging the deity or anything, as much as I wanted to. Yeah, so I didn't see anything wrong. I don't think God would punish me. And then what about the countless, you know, people that was telling me about their experiences? What did they do wrong, right? That they deserved it. The 12-year-old girl that talked to me about it, the 8-year-old boy that talked to me about it, the 14-year-old girl, the 40-year-old woman. You know, so many people came and told me their stories. What did they weren't on their periods. How horrible is an 8-year-old kid to deserve something like that? They're not. You know, you're copping out, and what you're doing here actually is you're empowering the offenders by saying something like this, because you've made them now some kind of soldier of the Lord that they can go out and molest women because they're existing, because they're having a perfectly normal cleansing bodily function, you know, and you're making it a bad thing. So no, those offenders aren't sent by the Lord, my dear friend. Those offenders were demoniac people, but because the Lord is merciful, they too are allowed to come to Ratha-Yatra, is what it is. So I just wanted to say that. And by the way, it's not just you can't have your period when you're, you know, around the Lord. There's many rules. So you can't wear stitched clothing. You can't wear impure cloth. So no synthetic, okay, and no nylon or rayon. So if I'm an offender, everyone's an offender, because everyone is impure, not just me. So I just wanted to address that. I thought it was completely ridiculous for this, and cold-hearted and rude, really, for this person to make this comment. This one, that really just set me off, that you're gonna period shame me. Like, how dare you? Sick, really. So that's about all I had to talk about. Some people wanted to blame religion, blame Hare Krishnas, blame Muslims, blame Hindus. And honestly, it's not like only Hindus or only Hare Krishnas, though it may sometimes feel like it, but it's not like, or only Muslims are the ones that do these things. It's all over the world, unfortunately, and it's weird, and it's awkward, and men need to stop doing these weird things. If you like a lady, just say, hello, you look nice today. Don't be creepy and disgusting, you know? I think that's all I've got to say about this topic, but I'm going to finish getting dressed, and I'll show you my final look. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back, and I'm done. I'm dressed, so you can see I just did a green eyeshadow. I kept it very simple, no tape today. I did just a green eyeshadow with some brown in the crease, and I did a bright red lip because I just kind of wanted to keep it very youthful and very young, and I didn't intend on putting this much eyeliner on, but that's what it decided to do, and I was like, that's fine, I don't really care. And I've got mascara on, I put my Sindoor on, Tilak, red bindi to match the red, and I couldn't find my red nose pin, so I went with my standard like crystal one. And I love these earrings because it like also has a decoration on the back of the ears, so it's sort of, I don't know, it's cute. I got it at Walmart. It was $3. Stop. Alright, so that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to see more videos of me doing this and other stuff. If you want me to talk about anything in particular, please leave me a comment in the box below. Otherwise, if you have a question, you can also leave your question in the comment below. I also have email. I've got Instagram. You can add me on Facebook at Damgood Production. Other than that, I hope you had a great day, you're having a great day, or you're gonna have a great day. Bye, friends.